So you're thinking about buying an investment property in Park City, Utah, not just a vacation property or a second home, but an investment property because you want monthly cash flow, positive cash flow return. Well, let's talk about 3 types of investments. First, as I think of Park City, I think of real estate as over time, big picture wise, long-term investment. No matter what you buy, it's going to be an asset, it's going to be money in the ground, it's going to appreciate over time, and you'll be able to sell it for more than you bought it for. So you will make money down the long run. Next, there's another type of investment, and that is the rental property investor. The investors who want to put positive cash flow in their pockets every single month. Then we have our third type of investor. We have the type of investor that is looking for that second home, that third home, that vacation property rental. And now their goal is not really to put monthly profitable cash flow in their pocket, but it's just to have an asset that they own that's going to appreciate over time that they can use when they come here to visit or vacation in Park City, that they could possibly rent out occasionally if they wanted to, just to put a little bit of money in their pocket to offset the HOA fees, property management fees, insurance, stuff, the fees that it costs to own real estate. Now, this video is designed for the number 2 investor if you are looking for a rental property. Now, I pride myself on being very candid, radical honesty, no BS, and full transparency. If you are not a cash buyer and you are looking for a rental property that will positive cash flow in the Park City area, then we have a major problem, because with a mortgage, no property in Park City, Utah will positive cash flow. So A, I hope you can be a cash buyer or become a cash buyer, or B, I hope that you can put at least 70% down. Here's why. Park City has a high cost of home ownership, okay? We have HOA fees, we have master HOA fees, you have non-primary residence real estate tax, you have utilities, and we have very high property management fees. So if you're looking for a nightly rental, your property management fees will be much higher. If you're looking for an annual rental, you can expect to pay about 10% if you want a property manager to manage it annually. That's another thing that you need to look at as an investor when you're investing in Park City. Nightly rentals, we're too seasonal for a steady 12-month rolling Airbnb type rental, vacation rental investment. We're up and down, we're all over the place. If we don't have a good ski season, that affects how often your property will rent it out. So maybe if you get nervous and you're not really getting the bookings, because we have a lot of short-term rental competition here, we have a lot of vacation rentals here, you're not the only person, you've got competition, and you're going, well, maybe I should just rent this out annually, you might have a better chance of having positive cash flow. But that all depends on the price of the real estate that you're looking at and how much you're putting down. And 3, if you have the potential to be a cash buyer, I would be a cash buyer. So let's calculate the numbers that it actually takes to wrap your head around if this rental is going to be profitable or not. Now, this doesn't just apply to anywhere in Park City, and you're looking at it as rental income opportunity, monthly profit, monthly cash flow, which is why a lot of investors that are investing in real estate, that's why they go the duplex route. That's why they do annual rentals. That's why they buy apartment complexes or do commercial, because that is way more profitable than short-term Airbnb rentals that are luxury vacation rentals, expensive luxury vacation rentals in Park City. So first off, I want you to make a square. So the first box is income. What can this property produce? Monthly, what is it going to produce? If it's a nightly rental, you need to figure out how many nights of the year or how many days of the year that this property needs to be rented out in order for it to put a profit in your pocket. Then we're going to look at cash flow. Then we're going to look at the expenses that are associated with owning this property. And this is why owning a vacation property in Park City that you're trying to Airbnb out with a mortgage is not going to be profitable. And I'll show you in the expenses box. And we want to look at your cash on cash return. So what is cash flow? Cash flow is going to be your income minus your expenses. That is going to equal your monthly cash flow. So the monthly income minus the expenses will be what the cash flow is. So what's your cash on cash return? Well, that is going to be your annual cash flow, right? What this property makes, your annual cash flow. So we're taking out the expenses, we're taking out the income. That's your annual cash flow. And we're going to divide it by the total amount that you've invested in this property. You're going to add up all the money that it took to buy this property to see if it has good cash on cash return. And this is where you can kind of compare it to the stock market. Will it be a good investment? Is it performing below the stock market? Is it performing above it? Then if you're that stock market guy, you can look at the numbers clearly. Something to note is I am the source of the source for this. I cannot do your due diligence for you. If you're an investor, you better know your numbers. You better know what you need HOA wise. You better know exactly what your numbers are. You better know what you're putting down, if you can be cash, what your monthly mortgage is. I can help you get the numbers for utilities, HOA fees, master HOA fees, property management fees. I can help you get those numbers, or I can put you in touch with somebody who can help you get those numbers, but I cannot do your due diligence for you. So I need you to remember that I am the source of the source for you. I am the real estate negotiator. I am a master expert of the areas. I'm hyper local. I know what areas are, okay? But I cannot do your numbers for you. You have to be the one who makes the decision and runs the numbers. So you got to do a little bit of math. But guess what? This video is here to help you. So let's take a look at the price of the home. How much does the home actually cost? Then we're going to look at the expenses to run it, taxes, the insurance on it, the utilities. Utilities are typically electric, water, sewer, garbage, gas, snow removal, landscaping removal. Also, you want to look into if you're buying in an HOA area like a condo or townhome, do those HOA fees include some of that, like cable, internet, those types of things as well? You have lawn care, those types of things. Do we have a master association fee? A lot of times Park City has master association fees, so we want to know what that is. The repairs on the home. Many people forget about this. If you're buying a property, does it need repairs? How much is it going to cost? Plus, you want to put a little bit of money away for capital expenditures. Like, does the roof eventually need to be repaired? Are you going to have to put all new flooring in? Will you have to do some remodeling, some updating, carpet, appliances? These types of capital expenditures, you need to think the big picture. Will you have to eventually update this? Or will you need a new water heater? Will you have to eventually do some updating or replace any big expenses? Also want to look at assessments. Does this property have assessments? If you're buying in Park City and you're buying an older condo, there's a very great chance that property you're buying will have an assessment on it. Park City is going through a big refresh because it has a lot of these older properties are competing with these new construction properties. So the roofs need to be redone, windows need to be replaced, garages need to be fixed, siding needs to be replaced. So you might very well have a huge assessment tacked on to this property. What are the property management fees? Again, you want to know what's the splits. So I can provide you with a whole bunch of companies to call, and they can tell you what they provide, what they do, what their split is, and why it is. I know a few property management companies in Park City that will only take 20%. Majority will take anywhere from 35 to 60%. If you're doing short-term rentals, if you're doing annual, a lot of them will only take 10%. And the mortgage, we got to figure out, if you're not a cash buyer, you're going to be hurting in Park City if you're not a cash buyer and you're trying to buy a profitable rental investment. So we got to look at what that mortgage payment is. And a lot of times that mortgage payment cancels out everything and you will not have a positive cash flow return. So we want to look at transfer fees. Are there any buyer transfer fees? Are there any HOA transfer fees? Because sometimes HOAs could have a transfer fee too. We want to know what that is. And your cash on cash return. So that's going to be everything it costs to buy the property. So in your due diligence, did you have a survey done? Did you hire a home inspector? The appraisal, all the closing costs, the realtor fees, your down payment, any special assessments you had to pay or that you split with the seller, the earnest money that you put down, transfer fees, the mortgage fees, the loan doc fees, all this stuff is kind of like wrapped into your closing costs. And are you gonna rehab it or repair it before you start renting it out? Are you gonna paint it? Are you gonna do anything to it? Are you going to furnish it? Are you going to hire an interior decorator? that goes into kind of the cash on cash return, all the money you've put into this property. We're going to do a real life scenario, and we're going to go to this website called airdnd.com. And basically you can sign up, do a subscription. It will give you a rentalizer estimate history. It's got some really cool features to it. Seasonal revenue forecast that could be very beneficial for Park City since we are very seasonal. And then we're also going to jump over to the Bigger Pockets mortgage calculator. These guys have an amazing, so it's biggerpockets.com. If you go to their tools, they've got calculators for rental properties, fix and flips, a rehab estimator, Airbnb, mortgage payment. So first we're going to kind of go here and we're going to take a few properties in Park City just to see, just to show you. So let's look at something like Hotel Park City, for instance. This is a hotel condo, 1.2999 million, 2 beds, 2 bathrooms, 1195 square feet. So 2001 Park Avenue. Let's plug this into the Airbnb. So we're going to go 2001 Park Ave, Park City, Utah. And as you can see, it's going to populate for us. We can change 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. Let's say that it sleeps 4 guests. Okay. So it's saying, hey, maybe our annual revenue could potentially be $57,000. The average daily rate is around 320, and that could go up and down depending on the season. So winter, December through March, you could charge a little more. Summer might be less. And then it's saying the occupancy rate is about 49%. So just be prepared. You're not going to have 100% occupancy rate in this thing. If we're looking at kind of the rental revenue, now we need to look at the purchase price. So it was 1,299 plus the operating expenses. So if it's saying the operating expenses are $27,291, which we would actually want to double check that by going to look at the HOA fees and the Master Association HOA fees. So if we're looking at this property, it tells us that, okay, the taxes are $7,199, and that's for the year. We want to double check if that's going to be a non-resident, because non-resident taxes are 1.1% of the purchase price. So we just want to double check that. Then it's saying our HOA dues are $1,862 a month. Okay, so we want to start tacking this on. Nightly rentals are allowed in this property. This is a property you probably would not be able to rent out very easily annually. So 1,862 times 12. So your HOA fees alone are going to be $22,344. Now look at this. So our they're saying that our annual revenue has a potential to be $57,000. So that still leaves $34,000. So now let's minus the taxes. 1,862 times 12 equals $22,344. Approximate taxes are $7,199. What's your mortgage payment? If you get a mortgage on this property, now you can see why it's not going to positive cash flow the second that you have a mortgage. If you pay cash, this property will be better. It will cash flow. But if you are mortgaging it, it will not. You can do this. This little trick is awesome for basically any property that you have. So now you can see why, if you are getting a mortgage, it's a problem, because you have to put at least 35% down for an investment property. And that's the bare minimum. And there's no way that on a property that's $1.3 million that you're going to positive cash flow with putting 35% down on top of the HOA fee, because the HOA is so high, on top of property management fees, on top of utilities, on top of any assessments, which Hotel Park City has some assessments, on top of buyer transfer fees. So now you know what I'm talking about. You have to know your numbers and you have to do some math. And I am here to help you get the HOA numbers and those types of things, but you have to be the one doing your due diligence. So your monthly mortgage payment is going to be almost $6,000 on this thing, $72,000. So do you see? And that's with putting 70% down your monthly mortgage payment. It's insane. You will never positive cash flow on a rental property in Park City because our HOA fees are just too high that you're mortgaging. You've got to be a cash buyer, or you've got to half your budget, half the HOA fees. Now the problem with that is we don't have a lot of properties that are for sale that are $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. And if we do, they're usually a hotel condo. They have high HOA fees, and they're usually a studio or a one bedroom. And people, when I show them, hey, this is the property that will cash flow for you, they go, oh, but I don't want to stay in that, right? Because they kind of want to use it too. So you, my friend, have to get clear on your goals. Is this a straight up rental property and all you want to do is pump money out of it and you want to put it to work? Then maybe a studio or one bedroom is okay. But if it's something that you also want to utilize and use, and you're not a cash buyer, I'm telling you right now, you will not positive cash flow with a mortgage in Park City. And I hope that I just proved it to you by providing you with some of the numbers. Now, my name is Nicole Bowdle. I'm a local real estate in Park City, Utah. I've lived here for 35 years. I know this market inside and out. If you need help with real estate, please feel free to contact me. My information is dropped down in the description below. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to this channel and smash the like button.